Life can get hard, can you? For far too long have we been dependent on chemical substances and unsafe practices to bolster the length of our PP. Not only are most of these scams, but also unbacked by science. But what if I tell you that there is a much easier solution to gaining more inches quickly? This method will use the concept of special relativity. For those of you who don't know, special relativity is a theory that describes how space and time relate to each other. And things can get funky when moving really fast. It has two rules. 1. The same laws of physics apply in all the frames of reference, and 2. The speed of light in vacuum is the same for all observers regardless of their movement. It can lead to consequences like time dilation and length contraction, and it has been proven today to be the most accurate model for measuring motion. Now, let's imagine there are two people with two clocks. These clocks count each time a light bounces between its mirrors. The first person stays still with his clock, but the second person begins moving perpendicular to the bouncing light, causing the travel path to be longer in a zigzag. According to the second rule of special relativity, light is the same speed for all observers regardless of their movement. And due to the extra length the second person's clock must cover in comparison to the first person, their time must get longer to compensate for the equal light speed. Thus, we get a time dilation from the point of view of the first observer. Now back to gaining length using special relativity. Instead of observing someone else's clock, now we observe someone else's PP. I have this method that I like to call looking at John's long. So we have two people, each with their PP out. We will set up like the clock experiment earlier, except now the moving person will move in the same direction as their PP where PP is pointing. The observer will then measure the PP from the tip to the base. When you measure while John is at rest, you will get a measurement as the light bounces from the tip to your retina, and then you will look at the base to get a second measurement. Then light bounces back and you get your full measurement. As John begins to move, approaching to the speed of light, you will notice that the second measurement for the base of the PP, light does not need to travel as far, and thus the overall PP length is shorter. Now you might think, hey, wait a minute, I am here to know how to make my PP longer, not shorter. Well, you see, that is when we do a special move, or rather, a special relativity move. If we instead measure from the base first and then subsequently the tip, light will need to travel much further to catch up. And thus, for the observer, John's PP length is now longer. In conclusion, I have taught you how to elongate your PP using special relativity. The only caveat in performing such experiment is the fact that you require an observer to measure your PP. Just remember to always measure from the base first. If you like this and want to see more, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks.